So if you've been using Antigravity as your main AI IDE for any amount of time, you probably noticed that the default agent behavior is decent, but it can get inconsistent. Like sometimes it just starts generating code without really understanding the full picture of what you're trying to build, and you end up having to reprompt it multiple times to get something usable. That's kind of the problem that the Antigravity Kit is trying to solve, and honestly it does a pretty solid job at it. The Antigravity Kit is basically a collection of agent templates, skills, and workflows that you install directly into your project. Once it's in, the Antigravity agent starts working a lot more systematically. Instead of just guessing what it should do next, it has actual structured instructions to follow. And that changes the quality of output quite a bit, because the agent is no longer just reacting to your prompts, it's working through a process. So that's the core idea here, and that's what we're going to go through in this video. Before we install anything, let me just quickly show you what's actually inside this kit so you understand why it matters. When you initialize the Antigravity Kit in your project, it creates a folder called .agent, and inside that you get 4 main things. You get an agents folder, a skills folder, a workflows folder, and a rules folder. The agents folder has over 20 specialist agent configurations. The skills folder has over 37 domain-specific knowledge modules. The workflows folder has 11/command procedures for common development tasks. And the rules folder contains your workspace configuration, including a Gemini.md file for behavior rules. That last part is actually important because Antigravity recently added support for reading rules from the agent MD file as well, which means these configurations now get picked up properly when you're running agents. Alright, so let's actually get this installed. You just need Node.js 16 or later and npm. Open your terminal inside the project directory you want to work in. The simplest way to get started is just running this command, and that's it. It'll pull down all the templates and set up the .agent folder in your current directory. If you want to install it globally, so you can use it across any project without running that npx command every time, you can run this command and then just cd into any project and run initialize from there. Either way works fine. I personally prefer the global install, just because it's cleaner. Now let me walk you through the 3 core parts of this kit, because understanding these will help you actually use it effectively, instead of just treating it like a black box. Starting with agents. Agents are basically specialist AI personas. Each one is configured with deep knowledge in a specific domain. You've got things like front-end specialist, back-end specialist, database architect, security auditor, debugger, SEO specialist, performance optimizer, and a bunch of others, 20 total. And one thing that's worth mentioning is that you don't actually have to call on these agents by name every time. The kit has an intelligent routing system built in that reads your prompt, figures out which specialist is most relevant, and activates it automatically. So if you type something like fix the dark mode on the nav bar, it's going to pull in the front-end specialist on its own. If you type login is throwing a 500 error, it routes to the debugger. You don't have to manage that manually, which makes it a lot more natural to work with. But if you want to force a specific agent, you can still do that by just mentioning it explicitly in your prompt. There's also an orchestrator agent which coordinates multiple specialists at the same time for more complex tasks. So if you're building out a full feature that touches the front end, the database schema, and an API endpoint all at once, you can use the orchestrator to have those 3 agents work together instead of doing it one at a time. Next is skills. Skills are the knowledge modules that agents pull from. Think of them as reference material, but smarter. They contain principles, patterns, and decision-making frameworks for specific domains. So the React Best Practices skill, for example, covers things like Next.js app router, React hooks, server components, and performance patterns. The Web Design Guidelines skill has 50 design styles and 21 color palettes baked in. There's even a TDD workflow skill for test-driven development, a vulnerability scanner skill for security auditing, and a systematic debugging skill for troubleshooting. Over 37 total across front-end, back-end, database, cloud, testing, security, mobile, SEO, and more. And the important thing about how skills work is that they're loaded on demand. The agent reads the task context, checks which skills are relevant, and only loads the necessary sections. That's good, because it keeps the context window efficient. You're not dumping 37 skill files into every prompt. just the ones that actually matter for what you're working on right now. Alright, and now the third part, which is probably the most useful for day-to-day work. Workflows. These are slash commands that trigger specific step-by-step procedures. You've got 11 of them: brainstorm, create, debug, deploy, enhance, and some others. Each one runs a defined process with specific instructions, decision points, and best practices. And some of them even have a turbo mode that lets the agent auto-run safe commands without needing your approval each step. So let me actually show you how this plays out in practice. I'm going to use this to build an agency portfolio website. Simple, clean, something a freelance dev or design agency would actually use. I'll start with slash brainstorm agency portfolio website. Minimalist design, clear service sections, contact form. What happens here is the agent activates the brainstorming skill, which uses a Socratic approach to explore your idea. It doesn't just immediately start writing code. It presents at least 3 different structural approaches, compares them with honest trade-offs, and then makes a recommendation. For example, it might give you option A as a single-page scroll layout with anchor links, option B as a multi-page site with a dedicated case study section, and option C as a more interactive layout with scroll-triggered animations. Each option comes with effort level and pros and cons. You review them, pick what fits, and then you move on. That process alone saves a lot of time because you're not halfway through building something and then realizing the structure doesn't work. After brainstorming, I'll use slash plan agency portfolio with hero section, about section, services, work samples, and contact form. The project planner agent takes over here. It creates a detailed task breakdown, figures out the tech stack, and lays out the file structure before any code gets written. This is the spec-driven part of the workflow. The agent understands what needs to exist before it starts building, so you end up with fewer hallucinations and more coherent output overall. Once the plan looks good, I'll confirm and then run slash create. With the details I've set up, the create workflow kicks off the actual build. The project planner hands off to the specialist agents and they start working. The front-end specialist handles the UI components and the design system. The database architect handles any data structures if needed. Back-end handles API routes or form submission logic, and you can see it work through the tasks systematically rather than just dumping a blob of code at you. What I end up with is a working agency portfolio site, a hero section with clean typography, an about section, a services breakdown, a work samples grid, and a functional contact form. The UI UX Pro Max workflow is worth mentioning here too, because if you use it, it taps into that web design guideline skill with the 50 styles and 21 color palettes, which gives you a much more refined visual result compared to just letting the agent guess at styling. After the site is built, I can also use slash debug if anything breaks. The debugger agent does root cause analysis instead of just throwing a fix at the error. It traces through what's actually wrong and explains it, which is a lot more useful than getting a patch you don't understand. And if I want to add a new section later, I use slash enhance or add a new feature with the add feature workflow. The stall status command is also handy for checking where the project is at overall, kind of like a quick summary of what's been built and what might still be incomplete. One thing worth knowing about the Antigravity Kit is that it also supports creating custom workflows. If you have a specific process you run regularly, like a particular deployment checklist or a code review sequence you always follow, you can write a markdown file, drop it into the .agent workflows folder, and invoke it with a slash command just like the built-in ones. That flexibility is useful if you're working on a team with shared standards and you want everyone's agent to follow the same procedure. The kit also works beyond just anti-gravity, by the way. It's designed primarily for anti-gravity, but the structure of the .agent folder and the markdown-based configuration means you can adapt it for other AI coding tools if you want. The core benefit stays the same regardless. You're giving the agent structured knowledge and process instead of relying on raw prompting every time. So to wrap up what we covered, the Antigravity Kit installs in under a minute with a single command. It gives you over 20 specialist agents that route automatically based on what you're asking. It has over 37 skill modules that load on demand based on task context, and it gives you 11 command workflows that guide the agent through consistent step-by-step processes. The combination of those 3 things is what makes the output meaningfully better than using the default anti-gravity agent on its own. Less hallucination, more structure, faster results, I'll link the docs and the GitHub repo in the description below so you can check it out yourself. It's completely free to use, and the setup is quick enough that it's worth trying on your next project, even just to see the difference. Alright, so that's it from the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.